Greetings everyone, thank you for coming to my channel. In this video, you'll be learning about the to-be verbs. For starters, the to-be verbs are am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been. The to-be verbs are used to describe something or someone, commonly used to show state of being and identity. Be is the base form of the verb and is used with infinitives, commands, and modal verbs. And infinitives are just the word to followed by the base form of the verb. So example 1 says she wants to be a trauma surgeon. So notice how we're describing her. The subject is she. So we're talking about something that she wants to be. Example 2 says I want to be present for my cousin's graduation. So in this example, we're talking about somewhere I want to be in the future. And example 3 says you don't need to be rude. So notice how in each example we use to and we use the base form of the verb, which is be. Next we have be, being used with commands or requests. So example 1 says be nice. We're telling someone to be nice. Example 2 says be respectful. We're also making a command. In this example, we're telling someone to be respectful. And example 3 is a request that says, could you be quiet, please? Next, we have be, being used with modal verbs. And modal verbs express possibility, necessity, ability, and so on. They also express permission, and I have a whole video on what modal verbs are, so feel free to check that out. So example 1 says, I will be attending the event. So the modal verb is will. And of course, the base form of the to-be verb is be. Example 2 says, we should be ready by 10 p.m. The modal verb is should. And of course, the base form of the verb to be is be. Example 3 says, he must be crazy. So the modal verb is must. And the base form of the to-be verb is be. Am, is, and are used in the present tense. So I is used with am. He, she, and it are used with is. So he is, she is, and it is. And we, you, and they are used with are. So we are, you are, and they are. And you can be used when talking about just one person, or it can be used when talking about a group of people. So our first example says, I am happy. Our second example says, she is at home. And our third example says, we are at the park. So notice how in each example we're describing someone. So the first example, we're describing how someone's feeling. The second example, we're describing where someone is at. And also in the third example, we're describing where a group of people are at. Was and were are used in the past tense. So I, he, she, and it are used with was. So I was, he was, she was, and it was. And we, you, and they are used with were. So we were, you were, and they were. And you can be used when talking about one person, or it could be used when talking about a group of people. So example 1 says, I was at the concert last night. Example 2 says, we were friends at one point. And example 3 says, they were at the store this morning. So notice how in each example we're describing what somebody was doing or where they were at. So in the first example, I was at the concert last night, we're describing where someone was. In the second example, we're describing the state of our friendship, actually. And in the third example, we're describing where we were at this morning. Being is used in continuous tenses and gerund form. A gerund is a verb ending in ing that's used as a noun rather than being used as a verb. So let's start with being used in the continuous tense. So example 1 says he is being rude. So notice how this is an ongoing thing. It's continuous. Example 2 says I am being harassed. Notice how this is an ongoing thing. That makes it continuous. Example 3 says they are being kind. So notice how this is an ongoing thing. It's continuous. Next, we have being used in gerund form. And this is one of those things that throws me off at times. Like, it was kind of hard for me to understand at first, but it's starting to make more sense now. What helps me to identify if being is being used in gerund form is just asking myself, is this person actively being a certain way? If not, then it's being used as a noun. Okay, so example 1 says being rude is not okay. Example 2 says being respectful will get you far. And example 3 says he doesn't like being interrupted. Been is used in perfect continuous tenses and passive voice. And if you want to know more about both of these subjects or one of these subjects, I have videos on both subjects. So verb tenses and also active voice and passive voice. Been being used in perfect continuous tenses. So our past perfect continuous example says I had been eating. So this is just saying that I had been doing something in the past and it was an ongoing thing. So you could have been eating for 5 hours or 5 days or however long. Our future perfect continuous example says I will have been eating. So what this pretty much means is, so say come tomorrow, I will have been eating for 3 hours or 3 days or however you want to say that. So our present perfect continuous example says I have been eating. And this is an ongoing thing, so I could have been doing it for 2 hours, for 2 minutes, or however long. But it's something that started in the past and it relates to the present. Been being used in passive voice. In passive voice is where the subject receives the action rather than doing the action. So example 1 says my car has been stolen. So notice how my car is receiving the action of being stolen rather than doing the action. We didn't say he or she stole my car, and we said my car has been stolen, and that's what makes this passive voice. Example 2 says a cake had been made. So notice how the cake is receiving the action of being made. The cake isn't doing the action, the cake is receiving the action. And example 3 says my homework has been done. So notice how my homework is receiving the action of being done. We didn't say I did my homework, or he did his homework, or she did her homework. We said my homework has been done. And that's what makes this passive voice. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you found this video informative. If you did find this video informative, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, or all of the above, and I'll see you next time.